Hello.
Hello.
How's it going, babes?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Babes,
Yeah.
we got into a little bit of a disagreement.
It was a little bit of a disagreement. It wasn't like the biggest fight of the century.
No. But it looks like I might be correct about it.
I don't know if you are.
You want me to break it down or do you want to?
I'll just say it. So Rick reminded me that today was the anniversary of me getting an extra turkey last year for Christmas. And I then replied, I really don't know that it's coming today. It might actually come next week. But you insisted, why don't you just sit in the living room and wait? And then I said, okay, I'll do it.
Well, here's the deal.
Conscience.
Why would it come next week if it came this time last year? And by the way, I only knew that because I checked Facebook, which I'm trying not to do. But in this case, we see how beneficial it may or may not be because it started an argument.
Well, yeah, but you have to remember, too, that you've been wrong about dates before.
Right, but I'm saying, why would you just assume that it's going to be next week? Because we're also on Wednesday. It's not like it's Friday either.
Well, because this year for Thanksgiving, the food came a couple days before Thanksgiving.
But do we know that it was the same situation last year? Because the only reason I knew that this was a 1-year anniversary was because I had like a reminder electronically.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't like I marked it down in the calendar. So, I mean, it's possible it came a year earlier last year for Thanksgiving too, but I just don't remember. And I don't think you do either.
No, I don't remember. I didn't keep track of the date actually, so I really can't tell you when it came. But and I also don't remember. And I also don't remember keeping track of the date for last year's turkey for Christmas. So you could be right about that. I'm not saying you aren't or are. I don't know because I can't confirm it. To tell you the truth.
Right. And what I'm just trying to say is let's go with the evidence we have. And I might be off by a day or two, but wouldn't it be good to get it? And even if you have to wait an extra day, than to like sleep as somebody's trying to give you something.
No, of course it would be.
Yeah.
I mean, I am awake. I'm not sleepy. And then there's also something that will be arriving today anyway, so this is a good reason for me to keep watch anyway.
Well, good.
So, yeah.
Yes.
And it has to do with you, but I'm not going to say what it is. But it has to do with you.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Well, good, babes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I hope it comes today just so I can, kind of rub it in your face later.
You know what you're going to say? I know exactly what you're going to say. See, babe, see what I told you?
But think of it like this.
So.
Yeah.
I told you so, Dan.
It's better than that than, I get the phone call tonight. Bob, you'll never guess what I miss. I'll be like, babes, you should pay attention. Oh, sorry, Bob, we're moving on.
Bubs.
What?
You weirdo.
No, I'm not. You are.
But I know exactly what you're gonna do. You're gonna do a I told you so dance.
Exactly. If it comes now, it's possible it won't come today. But if it comes between now and Friday, I'll still have, a little bit of wiggle room.
Wiggle room.
Yeah.
What are you wiggling away from, Bubs?
Well, I'm just saying because I will be within the right amount of time because we don't even know if it's coming this year.
No, we don't.
And this is one of the great things about being poor. But 2, you're assuming if it does, it'll be next week.
Right. So I don't know. I have no idea.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But babes.
What's that?
I understand that you are signed up for classes now.
Yes, I'm signed up for classes with the commission, a local agency here. So that means that my schedule will be changing, which is good.
Uh-oh.
Yes, it is.
That means I'm going to start coming over on Friday afternoons.
Yeah, that's right. So that there's going to be some maneuvering and adjusting, which can be done. It's just I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this now? I got to figure out what days I'm going to order groceries, and so on and so forth.
But that we can make that work, and you can also get them delivered in the afternoon. Your groceries.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm excited for you. I think this is good. We'll see. I mean, maybe you'll have to me too them. I don't know. But on the surface right now, it sounds good.
You know what? I mean, things may have changed in the last few years. I mean, I know I've been getting some mixed messages that I'm not going to repeat here because I don't think that would be right. But who knows? I mean, the instructors are changing, new instructors are coming in, I'm sure. And other instructors have been there for a while. Who knows? I mean, it actually might be a positive experience for me.
I think there's a lot of like weird, creepy sexual harassment things that happen at these rehab centers just in general, not just the commission. And by the way, I don't know about anything at the commission, just to be clear, but I know about other places where they've been Me Too'd for good reason. So we'll see.
I mean, I haven't heard anything about that, and I hope that doesn't happen. But like I said, I mean, agencies do get new instructors and old instructors leave. So
yeah.
And old counselors leave. So who knows? I mean, they may have a batch of new people that actually want to change things.
Here's my question for you, babes.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that while creepy stuff happens at Voc rehab centers for people with disabilities like us, it never makes the mainstream news?
No, it doesn't. It's usually within the blind community, the deaf community, disability communities, right?
Yeah.
It never does. It never seems to. You have to kind of go on the inside and look for it. I wish it did, though. I really wish it did.
Well, I mean, that keeps going back to my theory that we are second-class citizens because our complaints wouldn't, they're not really exposed on the news. With some exceptions, but not about this type of stuff.
I don't know that we are second-class citizens. I think that maybe people are just afraid to speak up because if they do, then maybe they will be threatened. I don't know. Maybe it's just a matter of people need to be bold enough to speak up about it and to do something about it.
Yeah, but even if they speak up, it's not like it gets reported on a lot outside of our community.
Well, then I think that's the time where people need to push hard for it to be reported. And maybe that's it. Like keep on, being the squeaky wheel, right? Because that saying, "Squeaky wheel always gets the grease," and I really believe that.
Yeah,
I really believe that, and I know for a fact that it does because I'm not the most outspoken person. But sometimes, if you have to be the squeaky wheel, that's the only way that you'll get the grease. So I think there needs to be some hard pushing.
That's true. I was associated with an organization not way before, but I'd say if Me Too really took off in 2017, let's say close to 10 years before then, I mean, I didn't have the words for it, but I thought this place is definitely gonna get shut down one day for sexual abuse or harassment. And then Me Too happened and they just fired a couple people and made it seem like everything was cool.
No, I think they probably will need an overhaul, and especially with I don't know about the director situation, but it sounded to me like that organization needs an overhaul.
Exactly. Like one or two cases, maybe you could say you hired a bad person or two bad people over the course of a couple of decades. But when it's like half the staff, then you got to say you got to replace the entire staff, including the people at the top.
Now, the program that I was in the early 2000s, which is kind of dating me.
That's what I'm doing, babes.
Oh, that's that kind of date. my goodness.
Keep going, babes.
Okay. What I was going to say is the program that I was in, I noticed that a couple of people did leave, but it wasn't specified as to why they left. Actually, it was 3 people. It wasn't specified as to why they were asked to leave, but they left, and I didn't question it. I honestly didn't think any sexual things were going on, but I'm kind of wondering what the deal was.
I don't know, babes. I'd have to know more about the situation, and I doubt you want to get into it right here.
No, I really was kept in the dark about this. I didn't. I mean, it was like while everybody was in their apartments or what have you, we learned about this after we woke up the next few days.
There was one counselor at the place where I used to work out way back in the day again. And it was just like the gossip around the place where I used to work that, oh yeah, he's going to hit on one of the female students and trying to get with her each summer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And nobody did anything about it?
No, they laughed it off.
That is just not a laughing matter.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a laughing matter. It's so horrible. And especially since I know of someone that I won't mention who was preyed upon by...
Bless you.
Bubs.
What? You said preyed upon.
No, Preyed.
Okay, keep going.
Preyed upon,
Gotcha.
not preyed. Would you stop it?
Okay.
Who was preyed upon by a former coach that I had. And I'm so glad that they took care of it. But not every school or agency does that. And so it just makes me so angry.
No. I heard a rumor, babes. By the way, there's like a trash truck outside of my place right now. So if you hear something weird, that's what it is. But okay. I want to believe this rumor is true just because of my morbid, hatred of this organization. But I don't know for sure if it is. The rumor that I heard is that they try to save money one year. And the way they try to do it, instead of having like different apartments for male and female students, they just try to put them all in one apartment.
Yeah, that's really, really dangerous.
Yeah, like one unit.
That's really dangerous.
I don't know if that's necessarily true or if I just want to believe it because somebody told me that once.
And it isn't like the female students actually have a choice. That's what's scary about that. That's really scary.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that. I was in a situation where I was renting from landlords and they decided to make their house into an Airbnb. And a lot of the people that had the room next to me were men. And I thought that's so dangerous.
Wasn't there a time, babes, and I think we might have even been on the phone, where one of the Airbnb people started yelling at your landlords and they had to call the cops?
Yeah. So I met this guy like probably the night before or a few nights before, and he seemed very nice. I believe he was from a different country, and he was making it sound like him and his girlfriend were sharing the room. Come to find out, it seemed like it, but she was not staying in the house. She was actually in another place on the other side of town, somewhere in town. I don't know where it is. And so what happened is she buys the room for him, and he's there, and he wakes up. I thought I heard somebody coughing in the bathroom. Well, what happened is he accused one of my landlords of poisoning our water system with mercury. I don't know how he would be able to do that. And also accusing my landlord of being a racist. And they had to call the cops, and they also had to record what was being said and report it to Airbnb. It was crazy. I did not hear all that was going on. I heard him walking all over the premises.
Yeah.
and he was on the phone, and I had my door locked, and I was busy listening to my book, so I was not, not aware of what was going on. I thought I heard him say something like, "Oh, I need to get out of here." Well, I get showered, I get dressed, and my landlord explained to me exactly what he said, which was horrifying to me because he was just cursing my landlord out for no reason, calling him a racist, accusing him of planning to kill him. I mean, it was scary stuff. And then after that day, they got out of the Airbnb thing, and I had a really bad feeling about them being a part of that because, women and men are coming out of the house, whether it's for like a couple of days or even a month. And some of them are cool, but I kind of think it's really, really risky whoever you let in the house because I don't know how the background situation is, how they check backgrounds. But that was super scary.
I have a friend of mine, Babes, who is black, and I only bring up that he's black in relation to this story. So he's from, I'm not going to say where he's from, but he's not from Portland, but we know each other throughout the years and whatnot. And a little over 4 years ago, he comes out to Portland, not just to visit me, but he also had some business he was doing. And he was staying at this Airbnb. So I go to meet up with my friend. And by the way, nothing weird happened, but we were there. And
is that the one I met?
Yeah. You know this guy. Okay. So I think he had to go into the backyard, but he was nervous again, because my friend's black. And apparently around the time, there was a whole bunch of news stories about black people who rented Airbnbs and who had to go to the backyard of the Airbnbs, and like the white people who were renting them out or the neighbors would just harass them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, but in this case, whoever that guy was, I don't know what ethnicity he was harassing my landlord. He really wasn't doing anything wrong. Both him and his wife were there. And I was the only one in the house besides them, and they were kind of scared because they didn't know what was going on with me. And I explained to them that no, I was fine. I was in my room. I was listening to my book.
Yeah.
Bubs.
Sorry, go ahead.
Bubs, the serious story.
Okay, go ahead.
I could have gotten hurt by this guy.
I know, but you didn't. Go ahead.
And I told my my landlord, the wife, I said, he seemed very nice and cordial. I asked him politely to not use a certain cabinet because that was the one that I used and it was really confusing. And he said, "Oh, okay, that's fine." And she even said that he seemed like a nice guy, but they noticed something weird when his girlfriend was not with him, and to find out she only paid for one room and she wasn't there.
Yeah.
So basically she was setting them up. They were both setting them up.
That's crazy, Babes.
It is really crazy. So it was the opposite. It was the opposite thing for them. And they are they are people that have been very generous to lend their home to people. And I never had a bad thing to say about any other ethnicity, and then some guy ends up staying at our house, and it was really scary. It was really scary.
Yeah. I'm going to say something controversial, and I'm wondering, you might agree with me on this. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And I don't think I'm the only one experiencing this either, but over the last couple months, I've really been rethinking what are the benefits to the internet. So when the internet came out, I was a lot younger, and at first I kind of ignored it, and I didn't think, there was any value to it.
Well, there wasn't, because nobody was really using it a lot.
Yeah, and then around 2004, 2005 is when I really started to get into it, which I know makes me a late bloomer, but I did. And there was all these benefits, like you could watch all these cool videos online. You could listen to lectures. You could connect with people through social media. You could have services like Airbnb. And then it seems like over the last year or so, and I know that it's happened for different people at different times. Like a lot of musicians have been speaking up against or out against the internet for decades. But for me, it's been like the past year, but really the last couple of months, it's intensified to where I'm wondering, what are the benefits now? Because when you look at, for example, streaming services, now it's becoming as expensive as cable, and you have to have multiple ones, so you can't really just use one app, which makes it more annoying. Then you have like what's going on with Airbnb, what's going on with Bitcoin, and it's really made me rethink a lot of stuff.
Well, I think with anything, there are benefits and there are downfalls, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the internet can be used for things that are good things, like the availability of things, like articles and delivery services, because it is very convenient. It can be used for convenience. They can be used for finding information. I mean, with everything, there is going to be a downfall to everything that is convenient to us. It's a given, but I think it's our job to figure out how to use it to our advantage, and that to think of what good it could be used for, instead of thinking about all the horrible things that could happen.
Yeah, but it's definitely been used to perpetrate a lot of bad.
Yeah, and then that's what some people have decided to do, but it doesn't have to disrupt our day.
Well, it actually does disrupt our day, because it's divided us in a lot of interesting ways.
I know, but I'm saying it doesn't have to. You don't have to make it disrupt your day.
Okay.
You can make it be as good for you as you make it. You can decide every day whether the internet is going to be a bad thing or a good thing for you. That's what I say.
Interesting.
Yes, it is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious, Jaylo. What music have you been listening to recently?
Not a lot. I as you know, I'm a big fan of Christmas music because I love the holidays. I've been listening to a little bit of that, and I've also been listening to some of the stuff on my playlist, which is ever growing, by the way. My playlist is ever growing. I'm not exactly sure how many songs are on it now, because it's grown over the last 2 years. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot of songs. Yeah.
I know. That is convenient, having access to all this cool music.
It is. It is definitely convenient, for sure.
Oh, by the way, babes, I know you were having an issue logging into FaceTime again last night.
No, it wasn't last night. It was actually on Monday, and it wasn't just on Monday. It was several times I tried to do it, and it wouldn't accept my password, so I'm changing it yet again.
Okay. One thing you might want to do is write your password down, but not on your iPad. So like a computer and in Braille, because apparently Apple, with their newest update, they're going to have end-to-end encryption.
What is that supposed to
mean? So basically what that means, and by the way, they just announced this literally yesterday, so it's a little bit unclear, but from what I've been reading, it's kind of like if you lose your authentication information, all that stuff, it's going to be harder for you to log into your account, because Apple's not going to have access to help you recover that stuff.
I don't get that.
Well, it actually, here's one of the reasons they might be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if there's a crime now, I guess technically as of yesterday, and the FBI approached Apple and said, we need to have access to this person's phone for whatever reason to see who else they were communicating with. Apple could say, well, it's hard for us to help you out, but we can, but it's going to take a while. Apple claims to be very pro-privacy. If they have end-to-end encryption and the FBI goes to them, they can say, well, we can't actually help you because we don't have access to that information.
Okay. So it's protecting the person.
Yeah, it's adding another layer of privacy, but you do have to be a little bit more mindful about where you keep your account information just in case something happens.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was upset last night because I was listening to some podcasts and they brought it out that it was just announced yesterday. And it was right after you and I had talked and you had told me about having to reset your password. And I'm like, Jaylo's going to get locked out of her account.
Well, I mean, I'm logged into everything else, which is kind of strange.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't gotten kicked off of anything really.
Well, have you updated FaceTime?
No, I haven't. Is there an update?
I don't know, but why don't you just go on the App Store and type in FaceTime? And if there is an update, it'll say it.
Maybe I should.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just very I think it's just very confusing to me, and it's just like I already changed it. It's the right amount of characters.
I would try updating FaceTime first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they did give me instructions that I'm going to get on Friday. So then I can fix that information and update everything.
I would update it now just so you don't have to reset your password.
Well, no, they gave me instructions for this Friday.
For how to log into FaceTime or how to update your password?
How to update my password so that I can log into FaceTime.
But you already changed the password.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying, babes. Why don't you try updating it? It might save you the trouble of having to change your password.
Okay.
Well, what am I getting wrong in this scenario?
Well, I don't think it's going to make a difference because, I could update it, yes, but as far as because I already put in the account recovery request, like I told you, remember?
Okay, here's what I'm saying. You don't have to change it just because you put in the request if you haven't changed it yet. What I'm saying is, if you could just update it and press a button and then log in, wouldn't that be easier?
It would.
So why don't you just try that?
No, I'm going to try it.
Okay.
I don't have to get a lecture.
Well, you weren't listening to me. And my way could potentially be a lot easier.
You don't know everything, Bubs, but I will try it.
I didn't say for sure it would be, but I said potentially it could be.
I will try it to ease your conscience. How's that?
Watch, what'll happen is tonight or tomorrow when nobody's listening, you'll come to me and you'll be like, Bob, we got the cookie and turns out that I don't need to change my password. You were correct. Moving on.
Bubs, really?
What's up, babes?
What am I going to do with this man?
You're going to love me, okay?
I already do, but I haven't figured out what else I'm going to do.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you're not like that lady Cheryl from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
What does she do?
She's in the first couple seasons, she's like the wife on the show, and he gets her in all these like bizarre situations.
Uh-huh.
That's one of those shows that used to be great, and now you can see all the jokes coming.
Oh, okay. So she was like the wife on the show, and then what happens?
I forget what happens. I think she ends up cheating on him and leaving, and then they get divorced, but she's still in his social circle.
So her character's name is also Cheryl?
Yeah, and
I know that
Cheryl Hines plays her.
Cheryl Hines plays a girl named Cheryl. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Because she created that show?
No, Larry David created it.
Oh, okay.
But I believe they were friends before he put that show together.
Oh, yeah, I've heard little things about I've heard things about Curb Your Enthusiasm, but I never I was never interested in watching Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I love a lot of that show. I just think it's gone on too long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
Yeah, some shows just you guys got to end it at some point.
So the husband gets her. Okay, so why am I not like Cheryl? Because the husband gets her into these bizarre situations and
exactly, and I get you into good situations.
Oh my God.
For the most part.
For the most part.
Yeah, and I'm Poe.
Oh goodness.
What?
Bubs.
What's up?
What else?
What else?
Yeah, what else?
By the way, babes, did you hear that Larry David is getting sued?
Ooh, why?
So
no, I didn't hear that.
Check this out. So you know that Sam Bankman-Fried dude who they just extradited to the U.S.?
So in big trouble. Yes, yes.
By the way, that's another thing we got to do away with. These, I'm going to get back to Larry David in a minute, but these like guys who try to defraud people, but they use all this colorful language and try to pretend that they're all mindful and, they care about people.
I've heard that I think he was an interview.
He's been interviewed a few times, yeah.
Yeah, and somebody commented, he was making a comment about Sam Bankman-Fried, and he's like, this guy knows what he's talking about. He's acting as if he doesn't know what he's doing, and he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, and he's trying to pretend.
Right. He knows exactly what he's doing.
He's trying to pretend like he cares about the people. I've noticed a lot of people like that, especially a lot of people who are born rich. Not all of them, but a lot of them I've met. They use the right language, and then they screw you over behind your back.
Well, it's the affluenza thing, right?
Yeah.
Remember, like that rich kid said that he does not deserve to get in trouble because he's a rich kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's affluenza. They don't want to. They use it as an excuse because they don't want to accept the consequences of what they did. Because they think that, well, daddy's going to bail me out, so I can do whatever I want.
I've wondered, babes. Now, hear me out, because I know this is going to seem like a bizarre thing, and then we will get to Larry David. If in some way most Americans suffer from some form of affluenza. Now, obviously, we're not Sam Bankman-Fried, where we're just, pretending that we're worth billions of dollars and talking about the good we do while we're screwing everybody over. But we do live in a country where we have access to a lot of resources that people in the third world, most of them just don't have. And we do exploit third world workers a lot in this country.
Okay, what's your point?
Well, I just said, I wonder if in some ways as Americans, not to the extent of Sam Bankman-Fried, but if we all have a little bit of affluenza, considering where we're from and the time we were born in.
I don't know that we have affluenza. I think that comes mostly from rich kids who have never experienced failures or consequences. But I also think that as Americans as a whole, now I'm not pointing this at anybody at all. But I think as an American society where we have a lot of freedoms and liberties, we don't appreciate the fact that there are people in other countries that don't have a lot like we do. And I think that the people who have actually gone outside of this country, like I've been to the Philippines, that's the farthest country I've been in, and I have been around people that have had to beg for food because there's a lot of beggars, and there's people that are homeless and are in a lot more dire situations that I'm in. And I appreciate even the places where I was staying at, where the people that I was staying with were able to afford nannies and maids and cooks, even the poorest people, or even close to being poor. And how I appreciate my living situation in America, even though I don't have any maids or nannies or cleaners or what have you, because it's easy to get those services in the Philippines because people, it's a third world country, and there are people that don't have dryers and washers, and they have to use washboard to wash their clothes, and they hang their clothes on clotheslines.
My grandma did that.
And yeah, my grandma did that. So she it didn't surprise me that she would hang her clothes on clotheslines, which you will get some nice smelling clothes.
Yeah.
I'll say that. But I mean, even going to a third world country for a month and just being shocked culturally really opened your eyes. And even for people, especially people that are doing mission work in other countries, they realize, wow, our country has really been blessed with a lot of things, and these people don't have anything. Some people have to wait in bread lines, especially if it's a communist regime. They have to ration food. They have to save up all their money so that they can even have a vacation. I don't know. Just things like that. It really puts some things in perspective. So I don't know that Americans are completely selfish, but I think some of us are not as appreciative.
And we do exploit those workers too in other countries. Have you been paying attention to what's going on in China in relation to Foxconn?
No.
Okay.
I've been paying attention to what's going on in China as far as people in our politicians who have relations to them, but not the others. Not that.
Okay, so basically there's protests in China at these Foxconn factories, right? And one, it's super odd that there's protests in China for obvious reasons. But two, one of the reasons they're doing it, by the way, Foxconn is the factory. They handle all of Apple's electronics in China. So they help build the iPhone, the iPad, and I believe their Macs. Apple is trying to diversify, but so maybe I shouldn't say all their products, but they build a lot of them. They're at the Foxconn company. And they have something like 300,000 workers. You may or may not know about this, but about 5 years ago, they were having such problems with people committing suicide at this factory that they would put nets below the roof. So if you jumped off the roof, it would just catch you. In any event, Foxconn comes out, I don't know, like maybe 6 months ago and says, anybody who comes to work for our factories, we're going to give you a $1,400 bonus. And because their economy is not doing too well right now, a lot of people went there for jobs and they just said, we're not giving you the bonus. And the working conditions are really bad there. So people started to protest within, I think, the last couple of weeks. Now it gets a little bit murky, as a lot of information does from China because of the way their media is. But that's the way I understand it.
Yeah, China isn't doing so well as far as how they've been since we're finding out about what they're doing with their own workers, and I can understand that there's been protests after years of living under a communist regime. So I've been keeping tabs of that. It's horrible. It really is horrible. Speaking of nets under roofs, I heard that there have been like several deaths from jumping off of the Golden Gate Bridge.
That's been going on for decades.
But I heard now that there have been nets put there so that if somebody jumps off of to prevent people from jumping off of the bridge. So if you jump off of the bridge, then the net would catch you. I
could see that. There was a documentary I never saw, and honestly, I don't think I'd want to, but I remember reading about it in 2005, and I believe all it was is a documentary filmmaker set up cameras on the Golden Gate Bridge for a year, and he videotaped all the people who went there to commit suicide.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to watch it. That just sounds very heart-wrenching.
Yeah, I have no desire to see that.
And it's like, I forgot how many feet down there was, but I heard that, speaking about the Golden Gate Bridge, I heard that there was a story where 29 people were actually survived the jump, and they had regrets on the way down after they jumped off of it.
I've heard that. I've heard that as soon as people jump off the bridge, they almost immediately regret it.
And they just realize, I made a really, really, really bad decision. But they survived it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It is.
Jaylo. Let's get back to the Larry David thing because we went off course a little bit.
Yeah, because you brought us off course.
For your sake, babes.
No, it's for you.
So check this out.
Yeah.
If I remember the story right, the Sam Bankman-Fried dude ran a company called FTX, which was a crypto trading platform. And Larry David was in a Super Bowl commercial for them.
Oh.
And a lot of celebrities took money to do ads for them on various platforms. So it wasn't only TV like he did, but it was also on social media. And now those celebrities are being sued.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I kind of... So I don't know if they knew about what was going on with him prior to doing these ads. So I don't know.
I hear you. It is interesting, though, from what I can tell. These celebrities were all promoting Bitcoin, but yet they all got paid in actual money.
Yeah.
Instead of Bitcoin. So it's like, you don't really believe in the product that you're endorsing. Now, does that mean that they should be sued? I don't know.
I don't know either. It's a tricky situation, but hearing what he had to say, because he was supposed to testify.
Yeah.
And decided not to, but somebody interviewed him. I'm like, you knew exactly what you're doing. You're a scumbag. You took a lot of money from people, and you knew about it. You knew what you were doing.
And I guess one of the good things about this is he screwed over some very powerful people, so he probably will end up having to go to jail.
I don't know. I think he should. I think he deserves jail time. I think he needs to.
Absolutely. Well, that's why
a lot of people are very angry with him. Yeah,
that's why that Theranos lady went to jail, is because he screwed over powerful people. So
yeah, so he may be brought to justice, and I'm glad she went to jail because I think she's in there for, was it 4 years?
No, she got 11 years federal
11
time.
11 years. Yeah, I kind of think she deserves more because she could have killed people.
I know. You know what's weird? There's a lot of tech podcasts that I really like, and I was listening to one, and they were talking about this, and they were saying, oh, they gave her too much time. She deserved some time in prison, but not this much. I think she should have gotten the full 20 years.
I think you're right. I mean, if I was in charge of this case, I would say give her the maximum that the courts will allow.
Yeah.
Because people could have died on her watch, and luckily nobody did. But
so in fairness, what I did hear is, even though 20 years is the maximum sentence for the crimes that she was convicted of, it's actually very rare for somebody to get that much time, and most people thought that she would get less, including me.
Yeah, but I think she deserves more than just 11 years.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah,
because I mean, think about it. Can you imagine who could have died because that equipment wasn't working? And I saw her show, or not her show, but her story on 2020, and how she would change her voice.
Yes.
When she was talking to people, and how she came from a very rich family, I think it was. And she started doing this when she was like, I think she might have been in high school.
She was like a big Steve Jobs fan. She even tried to dress like him a lot.
Yeah, and how people were noticing how she would talk, and she wouldn't really answer questions if it had to do with health concerns. And she had a child with her, I think it was her business partner or something. So I mean, she she went down pretty quick, gradually.
Hopefully not just on her boyfriend.
Bubs. Oh my goodness.
Sorry, low-hanging fruit, babes.
Low-hanging fruit. Whatever. No, you did that on purpose.
No, I never would.
Yes, you would. You did it on purpose.
Yeah. I know that Kate Brown is not very popular.
Uh-huh.
But what did you think of what she did yesterday? Because I have mixed emotions about it.
I did not hear about that. I'm sure you'll tell me because I don't watch local news, so I have no idea what happened.
I'm very conflicted about this.
Uh-huh.
She commuted the sentence of everybody who's on death row and gave them life in prison without the possibility of parole. I can never speak.
Parole?
Yes.
Well, I don't understand why she would do that when they were already on death row.
Well, she thinks, I'm assuming, that the death penalty is kind of archaic. We also know from the Innocence Project that a lot of people have been released from death row because they were wrongly convicted. And take into consideration that even though we have the death penalty here in Oregon, the last time it was used was in 1997.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who was it for?
I forget the guy's name, but I remember when it happened, it was all over the news. And this is how old I am, babes. I remember before Lars Larson was this big conservative dude, and he went to the prison a week before this guy was killed with another guy named Bill Gallagher, who was a local radio host, and they did like a co-interview with the guy on death row.
Okay, but you can't remember who the guy.
I don't remember his name. I think he was like a rapist and a murderer, though.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know about that because I wasn't living in Oregon at the time, and I had no idea about that story. Was it just on the local news, or did it go national?
No. This was like a local thing.
Okay, so I wouldn't have known that.
But I didn't know that he was the last guy executed here in Oregon.
Wow. Well, as you know, I am for the death penalty if the person was rightfully convicted of murder.
Of course.
I don't want them to stay here any longer on this earth if they don't need to. Because, because if they spend life in prison, I don't know that they would be able to really be, I don't know that they would be sorry for their crimes, really. I personally think that if a person did murder someone, man or woman, then their life needs to take the place of the person's or people's lives that they killed. That's where I stand on that. So I just think I think they should have been left on death row, to be honest.
Okay. I agree with you in theory, but in practice it gets a little bit tricky for me. One, we know because of the Innocence Project that a lot of people have been wrongly convicted of murder and have been on death row. So we don't know for sure if we've executed innocent people, but we can assume that there's a good possibility of that. And that's not good at all. But even beyond that, it is a little bit weird, the government saying, and I don't want to be like one of those conspiracy theories. I shouldn't phrase it like that, but it's okay to kill people. And I know it's a unique circumstance. So I don't know. And plus we haven't used it in over 25 years. So I'm conflicted about this one.
Well, I mean, I believe that if innocent blood is shed, then that person who shed the innocent blood needs to pay for it.
I do too.
No questions asked.
I do too. So I will tell you this. Back in the day, I had a friend of mine who was Jewish and was really into studying Talmudic law and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And he gave a good explanation to me. I think he was talking about how, Israel was in biblical times.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope I'm getting this right. A court could sentence somebody to death, but if they did it more than once every 50 years, it would be considered a hostile court, and certain limitations would be placed on the judge or the judges of that court. And maybe that's more where I lean towards, is we should have a death penalty, but it should be extremely rare.
I don't know. I just think that it's not being used very much, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, you're also asking me today, and tomorrow I could feel completely differently.
Yeah. Well, and then, I mean, and it's a case by case basis, right? So some people should not be put to death, but some people absolutely should be put to death.
Mm-hmm.
Some people should be released after finding out that they were not guilty of this, because some people, of course, are sentenced for crimes that they did not commit, and violent crimes. But the ones who actually do commit them, some of them are not sentenced to death.
Yeah.
So, but there have been cases where, like, for example, I know he didn't kill anybody, but like, for example, Larry Nasser, right? At one time, a highly respected doctor, and a doctor that helped women in sports, but he was sentenced to life in prison because of how many counts of sexual misconduct he did on these girls.
Wow.
Which, the judge didn't make any she didn't make any bones about it. She sentenced him to life in prison because of all those girls that were affected by what he did to them.
Good.
See, so that's an example of somebody actually being brought to justice.
Yeah. I read a book earlier this year, and I wish I remembered the name of it. I told you about it at the time, and it was basically a man wrote this book. When he was a teenager, he killed somebody, and he was convicted. He wasn't sentenced to death, but he was sentenced to life in prison, and he fully admitted that he did it. There was no bones about it. He said that he did this crime, but when he was in prison, he really went about trying to reform his life. He learned different languages. He studied religion. He tried to bring all these programs to the jail and try to do charitable works. And as a result, 15 years later, he got released from prison, and he started a couple of businesses, I want to say in Chicago, and is now like a multimillionaire. Yeah. So that got to me too. Because again, it wasn't just a case of this guy was innocent and we figured it out. It was a case of this guy admitted he did it, but he also was able to contribute to society after he was a murderer. And that messed with my head reading that.
That's really interesting because he killed somebody when he was a teenager, right? Yeah. He wasn't an adult.
Exactly.
So I personally think that children can be reformed. Okay. Teenagers can be reformed. But it's really tricky if somebody commits a very violent and heinous crime to somebody, they kill them. Do they deserve to be in society again, even if they contribute to society through while they're in prison? That's hard for me to say.
Well, let me phrase a question to you a little bit differently. Somebody's convicted of murder. Or a heinous crime like rape, and they get sentenced to let's say life in prison. Should there be prison programs to help them reform to where they can never enter society again, but they can do things from behind bars that have a positive impact on the world?
Oh, that could be a good thing. It's so hard to say because like, for example, the guy who created Dave's Killer Bread was in prison, and he worked his way up and became a chef. And it was either a chef or a baker, I forgot. And he was able to get out of prison, and he's doing well for himself now. So I don't know. It's hard to say.
I mean, it's possible. I do think that we look at prison in a very odd way in the United States. And maybe one of the things that needs to change is how do we reform people, even after they do very violent crimes? And it doesn't mean letting them out, but it means trying to figure out how can they benefit and how can they benefit society instead of just saying they have to feel guilty all the time.
Yeah, and there are some people that have reformed, but they decide that, no, I need to stay in here for the rest of my life. I did a crime. I have reformed, I have changed, but I don't need to be out in society.
That's the David Berkowitz thing, right?
David Berkowitz thing?
Son of Sam. Didn't he say that he converted to Christianity in the 80s after killing all those people, But then apparently if you ask him about it, he says that he still should be in prison.
I don't know. I didn't know about that, but there like even with Carla Faye Tucker, she was in prison. She was able to get married, but she was still in prison, and she said, "You know what? I committed these crimes. I know I got saved, but I committed these crimes, and I need to die for this."
Yeah. One of the few things that I thought George W. Bush did right. And there's not a big list with me.
But I have a lot more respect for prisoners who say, you know what, I need to die, or I need to be in prison for the rest of my life because I put myself there.
Yeah.
And I blame nobody but myself.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's hard to say.
It is hard to say. It is hard to say, because also, what does that say? Because somebody obviously people need to feel some guilt, but what does it say about us as a society where we say that a person just has to feel shame for the rest of their lives and they should never have any joy between now and the time they die?
Well, I think that's why there's prison ministries, because there are people in prison that are so cut off from society, and people don't want to visit them, but they're just as human as we are. They just put themselves into a big mess, and they need to be talked to. They need to be loved just like other humans do.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard for me to think about that because I've never been to a prison.
It's hard for me to think about that.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is it's hard for me to think about it because I've never been to a prison. I know people that have been in prison ministries, and they honestly do love these people.
Oh.
They are very equipped to do that for these people because they love talking to prisoners, and they want to learn about what happened to them before they got into prison. But they need to be visited as well.
Yeah.
Because they are so cut off from society. They don't have the same rights that we do, because they put themselves in this mess, and it was self-inflicted. So it's hard. It's hard for me. I go back and forth with it.
I think with big issues like this, people should be a little bit conflicted. I don't think that we necessarily should have all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish as a collective we did.
Yeah, but it's so real. It's really, really hard to kind of maneuver between what would be more humane for the prisoner, to let him or her stay there for their crimes if they were sentenced to life in prison, or can they be reformed? And in some cases they can be. But would it be safe to let them out?
Exactly.
I don't know. It's tough. It is tough.
Yes.
Yes.
As you know, Jaylo. Oh no, go ahead.
But there are some people that come out of prison that are just really good workers, and all they want to do is get back into society again.
Yeah, and then there are other people who I know personally, like from my family, who get back into society and immediately start,
Yeah, they automatically start their old tricks again.
Exactly. That's a better way to phrase it.
Okay.
I may have almost used some profanity, which I'm against.
You are so
but
for that,
you're
Bubs.
not.
Bubs, you have, Bubs.
Oh.
Don't even sit there and lie, Bubs. Bubs.
What?
Don't lie now.
Oh my goodness, babes.
Oh my goodness, Bubs.
Jaylo.
Uh-huh.
I went down a Neil deGrasse Tyson rabbit hole a little bit on Saturday. By the way, I did a murder improv thing, but maybe we'll talk about that on Friday. But mostly on Sunday, I watched the close to 3-hour interview he just did with Joe Rogan. He's been on before, but this is the most recent one. And I listened to his audiobook, Letters from an Astrophysicist, where basically people would write him and he'd respond to their questions. So he gave an explanation of something on Joe Rogan, And then he explained it better in the book, and I gave you the worst explanation that I felt that he gave of it. And it's this. He talked about how the Earth is almost perfectly round. We think of it as having all these different climates because of hills and mountains and valleys. But the best explanation, he said, is imagine that the Earth was the size of one of those globes that you would have in school, right? And you haven't seen them, but I'm sure you've felt them.
Oh, yeah. I've felt Braille globes, yes.
Yeah. So imagine it's the size of a globe in a classroom. And you go in that classroom. If you touched the Earth and it was the size of a globe and you felt around the globe, meaning the Earth, it would feel as smooth as you would expect. It would feel completely smooth. You would not even be able to tell that there are mountains.
That's kind of strange.
Yeah. And the other thing he said, which was kind of interesting, is how like Jeff Bezos is supposedly bringing people out into space?
Supposedly.
Yeah. Actually, he might have said this part. He might have said this part on Joe Rogan now that I'm thinking about it. But in any event, he said if you took like a dime and put it on that globe, that's as far up as Jeff Bezos has gone from the Earth. The length of a dime.
The length of a dime.
Yeah.
That isn't very far.
No.
Well, I mean, he did. Yeah. I mean, I remember when him and his brother were up there, and I think they were only up there for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, and then they came back down.
Yeah, but really, it's only a dime.
It's
the
only
length of a dime.
Yeah, and not like a dime, and then like a dime that's like down on the globe. So it's very little. It's like less than like a third of an inch. And obviously, I'm paraphrasing, and I am not an astrophysicist, so I might be getting this a little bit wrong.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. Have you ever listened to Neil deGrasse Tyson speak?
No, but you've talked about him quite a bit, actually.
I thought it's just been this week that I've told you about him.
No, you told me about him before.
I've read a few books from him, even before this one, and I've listened to his own podcasts, and I've heard him speak on YouTube. He's a very smart guy.
No, I haven't heard him speak, no.
And I like that he is supposedly a big Carl Sagan fan, too. Oh. Do you ever want to read any of Neil deGrasse Tyson's books?
I don't know. I'm not really into, learning about astrophysics, but I don't know. I'm not really a science person, to be honest.
He makes it interesting, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I will. Maybe I'll kind of venture into Carl Sagan's world. I don't know. It's possible.
I love Carl Sagan. I think I like his stuff a little bit more than Neil deGrasse Tyson, but Neil deGrasse Tyson is still really good.
Okay.
It's just a matter of personal preference. Like if somebody said that they more lean towards Neil deGrasse Tyson, it's not like a negative. I don't look at them weird.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes.
Just like if they were comparing, what was that guy's name? Something, the one who wrote Coraline. What was his name?
Oh, that's Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman or somebody or other person who wrote fictional stories.
I'm not a Neil Gaiman fan. I know I'm the only one, but I told you that story. I read his book, American Gods. Yeah,
you told me about that a million times.
I was
maybe not a million times.
I was really enjoying it for the first couple 100 pages. And then he just sort of like abandons the plot to put interesting scenes in, and it doesn't really feel like it's going anywhere.
Huh.
Like I get you want to write interesting scenes, but if it doesn't add to the plot, why have it in there?
I don't know.
I might have to give Neil Gaiman another chance, but I did not like that book. Now, his wife, I guess she's his ex-wife now, her book was really good.
How long have they been divorced?
I think they got divorced over the pandemic.
Oh boy.
Yeah, what's her name again? She's a singer, but she wrote that book, The Art of Asking.
You told me what her name was, and I forgot what it was.
I forget, but that book was killer. I really enjoyed that.
Was her name like Deborah or Amy or I forgot.
Was it like Amy Mann? It was something like that.
Not Amy Mann. Amy Mann's a singer.
It was like something Mann, I think. I forgot what it is now. Unfortunately, I hate that when that happens. But that's a killer book, The Art of Asking.
Yeah.
And you should really read that because it's for creative people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because her whole thing was, now it's going to drive me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Let me see if I can Google it. Hold on, babes. I got a text from somebody.
Uh-oh.
All right, hold on. Neil Gaiman. Let's see who he was married to, babes.
Okay.
Amanda Palmer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it had to do with the name. Amanda Palmer. Okay.
Her book is excellent.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm not a Neil Gaiman fan, but I am a fan of Neil deGrasse Tyson.
When she says the art of asking, is that asking in general or?
Well, kind of. It's basically, she does this kind of like avant-garde music, and she talks about how when Amanda was getting started, how like she would also like sometimes pose as a statue, I think out in Boston, and people would leave her money. And then as social media started to become a thing, she would go on, I think, places like Twitter and ask people, hey, I'm coming to your town. Is it okay if I stay at your place? Does any fan have a room for me? And then she also was big into Kickstarter. It was either Kickstarter or GoFundMe for a while. And she has all these patrons. So people, I think, pay her like $3 a month. And she has enough fans where they'll support her. And in exchange, she'll release like an album or a book a couple of times a year and be able to make a living off of that because of her patrons. So she has a more direct relationship with her audience. And the people who support her on whatever service she uses, I think they also, when she comes to their town, they get like discounts on tickets. And she says a lot of people actually like the fact that they know that their money is going directly to her.
Oh, wow.
I'm not doing it justice because I read it years ago, but it's a great book.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, interesting.
Yes. Speaking of books, babes.
Uh-huh.
You've been reading.
I have. It's getting really, really good. So Jake Epping / George Amberson is watching Lee Harvey Oswald from afar. Of course, Lee doesn't know this.
Yeah.
He just kind of passed him, which is kind of interesting. And then Marina Oswald stops at his door looking for her husband, which is kind of a cool scene, actually.
I like that, too.
Because he was like, oh, I can't believe this is her, but she doesn't even realize that I'm staring at her.
Yeah.
And she says, where's my husband? I can't find him. And he said, oh, no, actually, that's okay. Maybe he'll come home for supper. But he knew it was going to happen. And so he's trying to prevent General Edwin Walker from being shot. So he wants to get Lee Harvey Oswald alone. But in the meantime, Sadie is in trouble because her ex-husband breaks into her house, slashes her things, and almost kills her. So I got to the part where he cuts the side of her face, which is a really horrible thing. It just sounds painful every time I think about it. And he calls George and tells her that if you don't, I forgot what he said, like if you
If you don't get here in 3 hours, I'm going to kill Sadie. Something like that.
I'm gonna kill one of you. So if you don't get here in 3 hours, then she's gonna go.
Yeah.
So he's trying to get Deke Simmons in on this because he needs some reinforcements. So that's where I am.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think you only have
about real.
Yeah, you only have about 8 or 9 hours left.
Yeah, it's getting real, bub.
That's good, babes. And as soon as you finish that, we'll start the other book.
Yeah, we're gonna start. Why We Kiss Under the Mistletoe. Why We Kiss Under the Mistletoe, which will be just in time for Christmas.
Yes, if you finish it this week.
No, I will, bubs.
Okay.
I'm determined.
Good. Are we gonna finish The Wire this weekend?
We really should.
Yeah.
We really should because I do want to watch something new.
Yeah, and I hope you like how The Wire, the first season ends. I get the feeling we're not going to continue with it because I don't think you're really feeling it as much as I am enjoying rewatching it. But I think at least you have seen an example of some really good writing and acting on The Wire.
Okay.
Yeah. You would agree to that?
Yes.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah, and there's other shows we want to watch.
Yeah, I mean the Wire. I mean, I understand why you would like it. It's just, I mean, it's so heavy, and I'm not really like a real heavy drama person. There's some dramas where I can handle it, and there's other dramas where I'm just like, this is just too much already.
I hear you. I would make the argument that with me. Now, I actually liked The Wire before like everybody said they did. I liked it in like 2003 is when I started watching it. So I was like an early fan of it. But with me now, most people agree that it's like one of the best shows ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like The Boys too. I mean, the first 2 seasons, was it 2 seasons we watched?
We watched the first 2 seasons and season 3 is out now.
I personally think that I would be happy just watching the last of the 2 seasons just because it was just so, it's kind of like where I am with The Wire. Like, I understand why somebody would like it, but it's just too much for me.
See, honestly. I got the sense that you enjoyed The Boys more than you're enjoying The Wire.
I mean, they have their good points, but in general, The Boys and The Wire they're just a little too heavy for me.
Wow. Okay.
The Boys especially.
Oh, you like The Wire more than The Boys?
I don't know. Actually, okay. They're both very different, but both of them are. I think The Boys are a lot more violent than this.
Yeah.
And it's just so heavy. I just don't know.
Because I know you relate to Starlight and Butcher a lot on The Boys.
I don't relate to Butcher.
Uh-oh.
Starlight, I will say this. I mean, there are things about her character I don't like, but at least she's being honest about it. She's not pretending to be somebody that she isn't.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing I got to tell you, babes. So for some reason yesterday, I was Googling Elizabeth Shue, and I forgot how many classic movies she was in. I mean, she was in the obvious ones that we know, like Soap Dish and a few others, but I forgot that she was in Back to the Future 2 and 3.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
And The Karate Kid, yeah.
Wow.
So I guess the lady who played Jennifer in the first movie left, and then they replaced her with Elizabeth Shue.
Are you talking about the one who was in the next Karate Kid? Because Daniel...
No, I'm talking about in Back to the Future, babes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she was in the original Karate Kid.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I did not... Oh, she was in the original Karate Kid. Yeah, I think she was supposed to be Daniel's girlfriend.
I guess so. I haven't seen that movie since like the early 90s.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while since I've seen both movies. I like the 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 just got weird, but actually I never saw 3.
One. I think the one was the next Karate. I think the third one was the next Karate Kid with
Dominique's. Who was it?
Dominique.
Not Dominique Swain. I forgot who it was.
Hilary Swank?
Maybe that's who it was.
Might have been Hilary Swank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, one of them.
Yeah.
The next Karate Kid was okay, but I like the 2 originals.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good,
Yes.
babes.
Yes, bye-bye.
Yes. Well, babes, you sound a little bit tired.
I had a very disturbing dream last night. I had a couple of dreams. I had one the other day, and I had the one I had last night.
Tell me.
I'll tell you the one I had the other day. I had a dream that I was in a van full of people, and you were sitting like maybe a couple of rows behind me, which is really odd because usually you're sitting next to me. And the reception from one of the receptionist people from the agency that I will be starting with, he got drunk, and he tried to put his head on my shoulder, and I'm like, I don't want someone throwing up on me, so I was trying to push him away, and I kind of had a feeling that he might have had a thing for me in my dream, and I was trying to push him away because you were sitting like a couple rows behind me, talking to somebody else, talking to some guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then last night I had a very disturbing, I would call it a nightmare. We were in a really, really big argument, and it might have been about religion. I think that was it, or whatever it was. And you were just very irate and angry, and I was crying, and I was telling you to stop. I was like, I love you, please stop it, stop it. You know, I was really upset and you weren't doing anything, and I was just sitting there crying, and you're like, I will never, never, whatever you said. And I was like, what is wrong with you? And I was just, then I woke up and I'm like, oh, this is a really bad dream.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was thinking, no, this is not my Rick.
No, I am right about religion, but I don't have to make you cry about it.
No, you were just irate.
Yeah.
I mean, you were just like angry and whatever it was. But you never acted that way towards me.
No,
that just happened in my dream.
Yeah.
No, I was like, this is a totally different person, and I was just crying, and anyway. So
I mean, we debate, and maybe things get a little bit heated, but I'd like to think that we stop it before we get to insane levels like that.
No, it's never, I mean, it's gotten heated, but it hasn't gotten like so explosive that one of us storms out and never talks to the other for the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but no, that was very disturbing.
Yeah.
But why were you laughing?
I just thought it was funny.
Why? You wouldn't be thinking it was funny if you really made me cry.
No, I wouldn't be thinking it was funny.
Okay, good.
But how do you know, babes, that in a different reality, I didn't make you cry, and you were just like viewing in on that reality, but your brain disguised it as a dream?
Oh, Bubs, you watch too much sci-fi.
Oh, my goodness. I believe Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I got the sense when he was on Joe Rogan that he believes in the multiverse.
That's like really out there for me, Bubs, to imagine.
It's super interesting, but you know what's even more interesting is everything is possible. This is my interpretation, is like, what do I know, guy? But it's even possible that there's infinite number of universes where everything has happened the exact same way without any variation whatsoever. So not just like there's a universe where you're president, or there's like a universe where like I'm a sports star, but there's like there's like infinite number of universes where everything plays out exactly like it does in this one. That's kind of trippy.
Yeah, it sounds like they're making it a lot more trippy than it is.
Well,
that's just me.
Yeah, it's a theory. It hasn't been proven.
No, but anyway, that was my very disturbing dream, and it just like I woke up and I'm like, no, this cannot be happening.
No.
You're a whole lot more compassionate than that.
Thank you.
You wouldn't just sit there watching me cry, pleading for you to stop.
Yeah.
What you're doing.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what happened. Did you have any dreams?
No, I haven't been dreaming at all this week.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good.
That thing in the van, that dream about the van was weird, though.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm glad you're not like that. Bye-bye.
Thank you there, Jaylo.
Yeah.
This is the first
Yes,
time
yes,
I'm
yes.
hearing about the dreaming in the van.
Yeah, that was like I think that might have been last week
Oh,
actually.
wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
But that was it. I mean, there was nothing to it really.
Yeah.
But the one that I had last night was just crazy.
Well, good that you
It's
got over it.
good.
Yeah.
I got over it because I know that you're not that kind of a person.
Yeah, and it might not have even happened in this reality, but it could be a different one.
Oh, Bubs, you stop it.
We were talking, babes, the other day about the Key and Peele sketch where they make fun of Neil deGrasse
Neil
Tyson.
deGrasse Tyson.
That was great.
Well, actually.
Well, actually. I wonder what he thought about that.
Oh, I'm sure he got a laugh out of it. I'm sure.
Like, meanwhile, his wife apparently is also a physicist. Like, in the sketch, they make it seem like his wife is just like, a regular person, but in real life, she's
a
like
disgruntled wife. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like super intelligent too. She's like a mathematical physicist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't even fathom that. I'm more into the arts. I don't know anything about mathematical anything.
On Sunday, I also watched the interview that he did with his 90-year-old mother.
Really?
I almost said grandmother, but yeah, and this was like a year or two ago. He interviewed his grandmother. I keep saying that.
His mom.
He interviewed his mom on his radio show, and I think they recorded it on camera and posted it to YouTube.
And what was he asking her?
Well, he was asking her. It had to be a few years ago because in the interview they say that she was born in like 1928. And he was asking her what it was like growing up during the Depression and how did she meet his dad and what was it like being a mom and what advice would you give to parents? And they talked about his other siblings a little bit. And apparently in their house, they had their apartment, they had 2 bathrooms. And apparently when he was like a teenager, Neil deGrasse Tyson took over one of the bathrooms and turned it into a dark room so he could develop photos.
Really?
Yeah, it was super interesting.
Well, what about the other one? Was that the family bathroom?
I guess the other one was, how to be used for a bathroom.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I mean the extra one that was used as a dark room.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That one was their primary bathroom after that, I guess.
Wow, that's really cool. That's crazy because wow. So and his mom was his mom had all of her faculties. It seemed
like she had all of her faculties, and you can never tell. But it also seemed like she was in pretty good physical shape too for somebody in her early 90s.
So she seemed like she was pretty sharp still.
Yes, and pretty active.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I think that's the key because I think the more a person gets sedentary, that probably also affects their brain too.
I could see that.
Yeah, and I never want to do that. I always want to, be around people and do different activities.
Oh.
Things like that. So that's cool. That's really cool. Did you get the sense that he was close to his mom?
I got the sense that he loves his mom. This is Rick's sense of things. What do I know? I got the sense that he loves his mom, but maybe he would like her to brag about him a little bit more.
Yeah, because he's an astrophysicist and he speaks a lot.
Yeah, like she was talking about how, she's not just proud of him, she's proud of like all her kids. And that's great, but I'm sure he would have liked a little bit more emphasis on him, or at least that's how I feel about it.
Is he in his 70s?
I think he's in his early 60s.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
I think he might be like 60 or 61.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
But
what?
Oh no, you go ahead and then I'll tell you one last story about his mom.
Why don't you tell it now and then I'll tell my what I did this morning before you called me.
Nice. But she was telling a story about how before her husband died, which was a couple years before the interview, they were on a cruise, right, for like a week, and they were hanging out with this other couple. for the entire week. And on the last night, they're out on the deck of the ship, and they see these like beautiful stars. And she just comments, "Oh, I'm sure my son Neil would love this." And the lady freaked out because she put it together that she had been hanging out with Neil deGrasse Tyson's mom the entire week, but she had never said anything before that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I thought that was kind of fun.
Were they like a younger couple?
I don't know. She didn't go into specifics.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's really funny.
But you were about to say about this morning.
Oh, okay. So I told you. So I went on my carrier's website.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see what kind of phones they carry. And I don't know which one I'm going to get because, as you know, I'm going to be changing devices probably sooner.
Yeah.
But they did have like an iPhone 14 sale that I saw, which makes me think that they do. My carrier is compatible with iPhones.
Yeah, most are now. I was under the impression that you're going to be getting a new phone like within the next couple weeks. Well,
I don't know when that's going to be. It just my counselor was asking me about which one would I want, but I don't know exactly when it's supposed to come.
Yeah, that's the one you want.
I also don't know when my other machine is coming.
You want the latest and the greatest.
Especially, something that can work and is fast.
Yeah.
Never mind the one with the home button.
Because the phone you have now, I think, was built during the Grover Cleveland administration.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
Bubs. I just got this one last year.
I remember that night, babes. I was like trying to watch a movie with you, and I think it was The Apartment, and you're just like obsessed with it. And by the way, it's funny to me, but I get all my little obsessions too, so I can't judge too much.
No, it wasn't actually that night. It was actually the day that you were leaving, actually, and I really wanted to get the SIM card into the phone that I was going to be using.
Yeah.
And I had to call the carrier, and the lady that was helping us was very nice, and we got it in there. Nice. And you were supposed to you were actually supposed to have a call, and you had to tell one of your friends that you were helping with something.
Oh, okay. I don't even remember that, but I'm glad you do.
Yes, I do.
Nice.
Yes, I do remember it because that was the first day of November of last year.
Well, good.
Yes.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Yes. Very good.
Yes. Well, babes.
Yeah?
Is there anything else you want to talk about or say or bring up? I guess talking about and bringing up are the same thing, but, you know.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I don't think so. We talked about a lot.
We did.
For how long?
An hour and 28 minutes.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yes. I thought this was going to be 2 minutes.
No, not 2. You've been obsessed with the number 2 lately.
Oh my goodness! Well, I still love
You're like,
babes.
2 minutes, 2 hours.
You know where it started from?
What?
For me too.
Oh! One more thing.
What's up?
I just remembered. I did watch the puff pastry chicken recipe.
Yes.
It sounds like it could be doable. I'm not too sure that we need to do the mustard sauce, though.
We don't need to do that. I think we might want to make a nice sauce with it, or we could just, I don't think that would be too difficult. Maybe a nice salad, though.
Or we could do like a creamy mushroom sauce. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. You know what? That's the other thing that upset me the other day.
Uh-huh.
I go to send you the puff pastry video, and I'm not really paying attention, so I put in like the 2 first letters of your name and just go to the email right below it, which is not you, but it's also somebody who I've never emailed before. But I've been CC'd on some email with this person, and literally the last time an email was sent out with me and this person CC'd to them was on New Year's Eve in 2014.
Oh man!
So
you're like, oh, I remember this person. I just never talked to them.
I really hope that email is no longer active, or this person's, when they got my email, their server just recognized it as spam. So they don't just think that I'm just some rando dude sending them videos.
Also too, and we could talk about this later on tonight so I can figure out the ingredients. He wasn't clear on how many chicken breasts we need for this recipe.
He said 4. Yeah,
4?
I think he said 4, but we can go over it tonight, and then we also have to figure out what else we want to make.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, I think that I will let you go.
All right, babes. I love you.
I love you. I'll talk to you later tonight.
Talk to you later tonight.
Okay, then. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye for now.